to Yassin Innovations channel. This is the channel whereby you're going to get all notifications on financial literacy education, creativity, innovations, and investments. So today we are privileged to host Professor David Mailu, a presidential candidate in Kenya, and want to know more about him because being a public figure, he has to sell his manifesto to the public, and if you want votes from Kenyans, he has to tell us, and we are here for that. So welcome to our channel, Professor Mailu, or we can refer to you as a presidential aspirant. The first question to you, because we've done a lot of interviews with you, and everyone is aware that you are vying for presidency, and being a president in Africa, it comes with a lot of challenges. What do you think has failed developing countries?
Well, that is a very important question. You know, basically, when Africa was colonized, it was colonized, and its social structure was destroyed. And basically, what we are now living a Western-styled government. We have inherited political structures from Europe, which we don't know much about, and this is where the confusion is. And if anything has to develop, it has to be based on people's cultural foundation. So to start with, the big problem started with we are developing our countries using foreign tools, foreign ideas, foreign anything. So that is a very sure thing. If you went to Japan, you still find that the Japanese, whoever they are, they take their cultural base very religiously. So are Europeans, so are Asians, whether Chinese, but the African cultural foundation was destroyed, and with now the perception that if we behave, if we rule like Britain, like the others, we are going to succeed. That's where the problem started, and things started going wrong. So the structures are bad.
If you are guaranteed power today, what are the two first things do you think you could change in Kenya?
Well, one of it is to change the structure of government, of governing people. This is the highest time that we should actually reclaim our values. And this is why I said from the beginning, when I said in African traditional order, if you are called a leader, you are admired from every side. And then, but today in the Western structure, which is based on money, on acquisition of this, either class or anything like that, this is not the issue. So actually, my business or my model or whatever paradigm is actually to try to restore or bring back the structure of governing in our traditional way, in a modernized way. I'm not talking about I'm going to invite people to start wearing skins or anything like that, but any culture in the whole world can be modified, and we can modify African structure, a governing structure, to actually relate to modern terms and to be good enough to be emulated by other people from outside. This is the highest time. We made it wrong. We have now to realize that we are Africans, and we have to begin from where we are. And one of the most important thing is that when you are an African, you are carrying this black skin. Nobody else knows in the whole world what to do with the black skin more than the black person. And so the black skin is symbolism of who we are, and this is where we have to begin. And if we take the traditional way, because in traditional way, when you talk about gender or anything else, we come from a society that respected mothers, children, everybody, and everybody in the society was a very important person, whether old or something like that. This is the structure. These are the structures that I would like to do, to bring back, to sell back to our people, actually to liberate people from the foreign structures.
What has the previous governments failed to do? You think you are the only who can?
Well, I was here when we became independent, and the first thing that Mzee Jomo Kenyatta did, and I'm not trying to say that he was a bad man, and he, like all the other leaders in Africa, had to begin from where they were. But the biggest problem that he started off with is that he didn't look into the cultural foundation of the people. That is where things went wrong.
Okay.
He did not address these problems. But these problems, there is what I call African culture, and what anyone would call that, that is the religion of the people. So he didn't go into that. We didn't develop into that. Instead, well, he went for developing materialism, being a capitalist. We thought being a millionaire, when you are called a millionaire, it's like you are, it's like going to paradise. You have to be a millionaire. So the issue of looking, not addressing our base, our cultural base, that is where things went wrong. From there, because when the first president started off as a capitalist, and by the time he went, Moi took over saying, if we are Nyayo, let's follow the same route. So we have been following the same route. Today, we can, and Africans and young people, old people, women, all the others, realize something has gone wrong. Why are we unhappy like this? This is a wonderful country with everything that actually should make us happy, but that is not the case. Development has been sectional. There are places where, like northern part of Kenya, that things have never changed at all. People who are actually dying of hunger at this stage. So that has been very bad governance. In traditional setting, all human beings were treated equally. Now we have sectional, this community, that community, and that tribalism and all that. We didn't, in African traditional setting, that one wasn't there. And to start with, even when we talk about Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, these are what I call Western or colonial paddocks. They were put there so that Wazungus, white people, would now farm Africans like cattle, like anything. We didn't have that. So we have actually to move away from these colonial boundaries in perceptions, in particularly also in political setting, and look at ourselves, go back to start where we should have actually started. We were colonized for a very long time, during which we lost most of the best things that we had. I still feel that this is the right time to restore the glory of the human beings, what we think actually we should be, something to live a life that we can be proud of, but we are ashamed of ourselves. And many people go everywhere to be, there are people who think, if I was born in Europe, I would be a better person. Why? God did not want that. God actually created, and we were born here. It was not our wish that we were born here, and if we were born here, that is what God wanted. And we should also look at ourselves, our culture, and everything in a very religious form, and we'll be successful.
Do you think the previous leaders lack proper leadership skills, or they are ignorant to the development of the country?
Well, I would say they did the best. If we go back to Jomo Kenyatta, Nyerere, or the others, they started from nowhere. Where did they go actually to learn about being the president? They didn't. So they did the best. But then I have to come back to the same thing. They started operating or using wrong political structures, wrong ways of educating people, wrong ways of showing people this is what we want. So this is a capitalist system where money has become so important, and where stealing everything is based on that. That is not what God wants us to be. We want to be equal. We want today, we live in a country where you are not equal to, you are hardly equal to anyone else, and the religion is money. How much money you have, what big car you drive, where you live, and this is where they have failed. And if they have failed, you know, I have some allowance for them. We did not have a history of governance, so they began from where they were. Well, Kenyatta did his part, Moi did his part, and Kibaki and the others, but these were wrong footing, and we want to correct the things. And everybody knows that things are bad, because many people rather, nobody's, hardly anyone is proud of being called a Kenyan. What is there to, what is there if you call me a Kenyan? Why not call me an African? Because there isn't any particular thing to say. This is the most important thing.
Yeah.
We want to bring order. Actually, the Constitution talks about one thing. A very important part is integrity. We want to bring back, restore integrity, human values which have been discarded.
Wow. So what do you think makes you special and not to fall under the same trap as the previous leaders?
Well, David Mailu is not Mike Kibaki. I myself, it's one